AI does your lead gen. So using a tool like BDR AI, you can now automate much of that drudgery and start bringing in qualified leads that you can be following up with right away. We simply want to coordinate, make sure it's getting us the right results, the right qualified opportunities, and then go to work. Sales is when we talk to people, and that's where we want to be.
Welcome to the Business Builders Playbook, the show that breaks down the systems and strategies behind predictable revenue growth to win in business. In each episode, we're diving into the proven strategies that separate the winners who scale from the losers who fail. This show is sponsored by drudgery.ai, the AI-powered business development platform that automates your outbound prospecting so you can focus in on closing deals instead of chasing leads. Let's get started. All right. Well, welcome, everybody. Hey, I'm so excited to be joined together with Thomas Ross today for this exciting webinar that we're going to be talking about the future of AI in sales and overcoming the learning curve. And I could think of no better guest to be able to help us to navigate this fast-paced learning curve of integrating AI into our sales processes and systems. And hopefully what we're trying to do today is to try to awaken everybody to what's available and to help people to put together a process and a system to help them to move forward. You know, we've got this rapid changing environment that we're dealing with, and we need help. We need personal touch. We need a combination of high tech and high touch. And Thomas Ross is just the perfect person for this process. He's had decades of experience in growing sales teams and understanding technology and implementing AI into processes. And now he's the vice president of sales at Workplace.ai.com. And super excited to jump in today, Thomas. And so if you wouldn't mind, give everybody just a quick little overview of what got you so passionate about integrating AI into the sales process and kind of a little bit about your background.
Yeah. And it all comes full circle as well it should. So that, I've been involved in sales training, implementation, cleaning up sales processes, creating sales processes, working with enterprise and organizations, and getting things organized in a way that they've got a comprehensive sales flow. And what AI has done and continues to do is to allow us to integrate all the various steps within the sales and marketing and customer experience processes to put them all together in a very unified, integrated, comprehensive way that makes things so much more efficient that at the end of the day, we get to spend our entire day with customers rather than chasing our tails, trying to find them or communicate with them. So AI allows us to do the things more efficiently that up until recently took a lot of drudgery to accomplish.
Yeah, it's been quite the learning curve, being a 52-year-old man and going from, having a Rolodex to having this amazing, resource that's available in our hands. And so I'm excited to get a chance to jump in and just talk a little bit about the elephant in the room. What are some of the biggest barriers that you see that are preventing business owners and sales leaders from adopting AI into the sales process?
Well, it is changing. If you ask 100 businesses how many of them are using AI, 98.7 of them will tell you that they are. Now, if you ask them where, when, and how, and all those good things, what you will determine is they're using a little bit here, and they're maybe using a little bit there, and Mary's doing this over here, and Kevin's doing this over there, and so we're using AI. No, you're not. You're playing. You're playing with it. It's a toy. AI is not a toy, not at this stage. AI is a tool that when properly implemented and integrated within your processes will make you money, full stop. And if it's not doing that, then it's still a toy. And your job isn't to figure out how to have fun with it. Your job is to figure out how to make it work. And that's what we did.
Yeah. Well, what do you think are some of the misconceptions that leaders often have about AI when it comes to sales and interacting with the whole human salesperson versus AI-powered salespeople, or what Mark Benioff from Salesforce is calling agent force or agent workforce?
Sure. So at the end of the day, it comes down to some very basic elements, whether it's AI or any other form of technology. And that's folks think you can plug it in, buy some licenses, go home and have dinner. And that's not it works, right? So AI is a very powerful tool. And whether it's Mark Benioff and his tools with respect to the sales agents that are available in Salesforce and or anybody else's, they're all crazy powerful, but they need to be implemented for the right reason. And if your organization doesn't require that, or that's not part of the customer experience, then using it doesn't make any sense. So it's really about developing an AI sales playbook for your organization that then brings in the AI opportunity to bring it home and put it all together and integrate with the existing systems that you may already have.
Yeah, that's good. What would you say would be the chapters or the sections of an AI sales playbook? If you could break it down into kind of the big pieces, like what's the fundamental base that you think business owners and sales leaders should be looking at? And then what are those things that would stack on top of that that would really give them, rather than poking it with a stick or playing with AI, they're actually leveraging AI to build and scale their business.
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things that you want to do is you want to be able to connect all the dots. And at the end of the day, our folks, our teams, whether they be customer experience, marketing, sales, leadership, are all communicating with clients and customers at every level. And what we need to do is to connect all those communication channels through a unified system. And today we're not doing that. So we've got emails over here and we've got texting over there and we've got phone calls over here, and we've got video meetings, and we've got chat box, and they all have their own separate databases, none of which, for the most part, are as yet connected or talking to each other. AI, with the proper tool, can sit on top of all of that, connect it all, bring it in, analyze it, create opportunities that you would pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for to a market research company, and you already have it. Drives me crazy, right? So we outsource all this information, and we're the ones with the information. We're the ones talking to customers every day. We're trying to, and we're doing a so-so job because we're not connecting these dots. So AI does that. So that's the first thing, bringing in all that communication. The second thing is to evaluate the methodology around the communication that we're creating. Are we connecting with our clients and our customers in an impactful way? Are we hitting the right tone? Are we communicating with them where they live? That is to say, are they on Facebook? Are they texting? Are they emailing? Are they hitting our website? Are they using AI to find us on a device, which 90+% are doing today, right? So where are they, and how can we communicate with them? In addition to that, and this is something that we're implementing now as well, what kind of an individual are they by personality? Are they an action person? Are they a blueprint knowledge person, or are they a nurturing person? And what happens is when we learn the characteristics that make up that individual, we can communicate with them immediately on their level and in their we're going to resonate with them and be impactful. Today, 75% of all sales are lost because we communicate poorly. AI connects all that, and through the system, through communication, through analysis, all of those things, which AI does before I've thought it through. I now have the ability to do that in real time. And instead of chasing people, now I can simply talk with people.
Yeah, that's excellent. Well, if you were to think about the most common sales productivity issues, how do you feel like AI can specifically solve those most common productivity issues?
So the biggest productivity issue as it relates to sales, if that's where we're at, and I suspect we are, that said, is usually client acquisition and lead generation and the development of those folks that we want to be talking to on a qualified basis. That's where most time, energy, and money is being spent, and sadly wasted. And much of that time is not impactful. It's not being used in a productive way. And as you know, with BDR AI can play an enormous role in getting rid of all that wasted time and putting the opportunities on a plate in front of our team to now be talking to those qualified customers now and all day long.
Hmm. So let's just assume that there's business leaders out there that are watching this video and they're overwhelmed by the process. But they want to use it. They have a desire to implement it. What would be your starting point? Where would you tell them ground zero? Here's where you would take the first step to start scaling your business, leveraging technology and AI.
Right. So the first thing you want to look at is what they're doing now. And then you want to understand why. And then on that basis, you want to help them move forward in terms of what changes may need to be made in order to implement AI in the first place. To simply say to a team that's been doing something since 1975 that you need to change that, and by the way, as facetious or crazy as that sounds, I see it every day, right, on a regular basis. We need to change the mindset, right? We need to change how we're approaching it. Sales is critical. Sales skills are more important today than they ever were, but the manner by which we develop and create that client acquisition and lead gen has changed incredibly. And if you're still using something from 1975, then I suggest you go back to 1975, right? This is 2025, and we have AI, and we have all these crazy tools. Why would you use a shovel if you can get a backhoe? What are we doing? Right? Well, like we've got to help them get out of that old school mindset. And then we've got to work with them to create a strategy that utilizes AI in their case. Every client and customer is different. The nature of their customers and how to connect is different, but we need to put together the process. And then by doing that, now we can implement AI. And, I find that 90% of companies have a CRM, but less than 70% of them are, CRMs don't used.
Yeah.
So they buy all these licenses and they buy the expensive system and nobody's using it except for marketing. Right? Which is fine and that's good, but it doesn't do anything. So AI takes the drudgery out. So now instead of me chasing around my sales reps and my sales teams to say, hey, did you get that in a CRM? Already in the CRM. AI already grabbed it. When he or she made that phone call, when they sent that email, when they were talking by video or otherwise, through the IVR, through the chat box, I don't care. It's already in the CRM. I already know what they did or didn't do. And I can help them get better. And I can help that create the processes that we want to have done. Very often we chase our sales teams to say, did you get a referral? I'm gonna. Good, that's great. Well, AI's already done it. I don't need to worry about that anymore. Now I'm getting my sales team on it. And now we're getting results. And if you don't think that makes a difference, it's because you're still playing.
So if this show is resonating with you and you're ready to take action because you want to scale your business faster, smarter, with more AI and technology and less labor, check out BDR.ai. We help entrepreneurs and executive sales leaders to automate the grind of prospecting so you can focus your time on closing deals and growing revenue where you should be spending your time. With AI-powered data, digital outreach automation, and done-for-you prospecting systems, you'll connect with more qualified leads, book more appointments, and build predictable revenue without adding more hours to your week or the week of your staff. Visit BDR today and discover how our AI Prospect Finder and digital BDR agents can help you to build your pipeline and your profits. Visit BDR.ai, where business builders learn how to automate and scale their playbook. Yeah, and I'd probably say that everybody that's watching this video has been guilty at some point or another, or maybe they're hosting this video. They haven't done a great job with implementing all of the technology that they acquire. The cheapest price for AI is the cost of the subscription or the software. The most expensive price is the price of implementation or the price of not implementing, right? Which oftentimes the price of not implementing is much greater than the process or the price of implementing. And, if you partner with a good partner that can end up helping you to implement, and oftentimes those services are included in the cost of the programming. It's just a matter of prioritizing and building that relationship so that you have unpaid advisors, or maybe they're paid because you bought the services from them, but leveraging them to the highest extent. So I'd love to have some of the people that are watching live throw questions in the Q&A. I've got one question here for you. How does AI actually help sales reps focus more on selling and building relationships rather than burying them in tasks? What would be your quick answer to that, Thomas?
Well, there's two answers to that. One's at the front end and one's at the back end. And we've kind of spoken at a high level with respect to that already, but to put a little bit more meat on the bone at the front end, AI does your lead gen, right? So using a tool like BDR AI, you can now automate much of that drudgery and start bringing in qualified leads that you can be following up with right away. And you can be doing that all day long instead of sending out thousands of emails and doing all that stuff that we've been doing for years and years and hoping that we get a higher open rate today than we got yesterday. That is not selling, right? That's not sales. Sales is when we talk to people. Funny thing, right? And that's where we want to be. So we want to take that out. We want to let AI and these various tools do much of that work. We simply want to coordinate, make sure it's getting us the right results, the right qualified opportunities, and then go to work. That said, that was the front end. The second part, or the back end, is where AI now collects everything from us as we do that and automates the process. It hears the word, Paul, I'm going to send you a proposal on the basis of our conversation today and all the details that we've discussed. It's already done by the time I'm finished talking to Paul. AI has already produced it. Now I review it, make any changes, add to it. The email is already done. All I do again is review it, attach the proposal. It's done. I'm on to my next call. So rather than spend the next 2 hours chasing this person or that person or the other person to help me with this detail or that detail, AI's already done it. Now that may seem like a really big monster of AI behind me that's doing it. It isn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It doesn't have to be anything crazy expensive. And it doesn't have to come through a huge, massive system in order to make that work. These things are here today. They work and they work immediately. So the only problem for you is the fact that you haven't figured that out yet and that you're not doing it. And that's not AI's fault. That's yours.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Embracing full responsibility for the opportunities that are available that I have not taken advantage of. And I think that if everybody were to, write down the words, this is a fun little exercise. I'll challenge everybody. If you have a pen and paper, if you have the ability, I know that Workplace AI is taking notes for me, so it's going to jot this down. But if you are not writing this down, write this down. OPPORTUNITYSNOWHERE. I'll give it to you one more time. It's OPPORTUNITYSNOWHERE. And the first person that puts that phrase in the chat and tells me what I just spelled, well, we'll give you a little prize. We'll give you 100 free leads from BDR.ai, and would love to be able to see what people are thinking that I just spelled out. And oftentimes it says exactly what Beverly just put in there. Opportunity is nowhere. But if you write it down a little different, and if you have a person like Thomas Ross to separate the W and the H, you see opportunity is now here. The exact same spelling, the exact same letters, but a completely different outlook. And that's what happens when you partner with a person like Thomas Ross or BDR.ai, is that you get a chance to see opportunity is now here. And that will give you an accelerant and a competitive advantage around all the other people that are overwhelmed and, not able. I love the phrase, I'm not very tech savvy. That's not a life sentence. You can become more tech savvy. You're not a tree. You can change, and it's not that hard to learn new skills. And if you are willing to have a growth mindset and you're open and curious to what you can learn, no matter what age you are, age isn't a number. Age, is a mindset. And so if you can think about yourself as a person that I'm very flexible and very agile, I have the capacity to learn new things regardless of how old I am and what college education or no education I have. I just need good partners. I need good advisors. And Thomas Ross is one of those people. So I got one more question, and I want you to dive into a little bit more of the projects that you're working on right now that are really world changing. So the question that I have now is, looking ahead, where do you see AI taking the sales profession in the next 12 to 18 months? And how can companies or individuals stay ahead of that curve starting today?
Great questions. Great questions. So AI is changing everything and it's doing it minute by minute. When the internet came into play, and for those of us who were there when it did, we saw more of a gradual change. It didn't happen year one. It didn't happen year two. It happened year three, five, and going forward. In fact, many companies didn't even bother creating a website till well into the 2000s because they didn't feel it was necessary and important. Obviously, the internet proved them wrong, and it continued to develop and continues to develop in many different ways. And it's become the backbone of everything we do today by way of communication, information, business, et cetera, et cetera. That said, along comes AI. AI is moving at 100 times the speed the internet even thought about. AI is happening and changing when we get up in the morning. Every day we're reading about this, that, and the other thing. There's a new startup being popped up every 7 minutes. It's nuts. And it's going to continue. And it's not going to slow down. It's going to speed up. Right. And the question isn't, is it going to make a difference? The question is, how is it going to make a difference for us, our organization, and the method by which we continue to grow and do a better job communicating with our customers? This isn't about you. This is about them. And that's what AI helps you learn to do. So we need to connect those dots. By way of your second question, with respect to what can we do in order to incorporate that quickly, there's two answers to that as well. I challenge every individual from a sales perspective on this or any future opportunity to watch us have this conversation. If you are not in an organization that, for whatever reason, is slow to the start or still in play mode or not focused or not taking it seriously, that doesn't stop you from doing it. As David said so rightly before, you're not a tree. You can develop and change and grow. And if your company doesn't want to help you do that, are you really going to sit around and wait till they do? Because that's about the most ineffective decision you're ever going to make, at least as it relates to your career. So do something about it. These AI solutions and products are available to you, just as they are your organization. They're cost effective. They're $19 a month. Right? And when you think about what that does for you with respect to your career, your business, your clients, and the amount of time you can now actually help people through the sales process by way of not doing all the drudgery and now talking to 15, 20 people a day instead of chasing to get one. Right? Think about that. Now think about what that means to you in terms of revenue and growth. And do you think your company is not going to notice that and saying, holy cow, look at Elizabeth go. She's got 20 meetings this week. The rest of the team has 3. What's going on? So when they look at that and they see that, you now become the leader. You now become the person they're going to ask questions about, and you get the opportunity to make that difference. If they don't, you're still the one doing it. And by the time they go out of business, because they will, you're going to be the person that gets the first opportunity at the next organization because they see what you did when you stole all their customers.
So good. Yeah, there's so many opportunities for us to continue to grow and expand. And so, I'd love to have you just talk a little bit about what you've been doing with Workplace-AI.com and talk about how organizations and individuals are leveraging it to get more done with less time and have better outcomes.
Yes, and we spoke a little bit to that earlier, and happy to elaborate more on that. Back when AI first started, we had one of the sets or areas of AI that developed was called note takers, and today we've got I don't know, hundreds for sure, probably thousands of different note takers. And as AI has evolved daily, and here we are, not even 18 months into its full fruition into the B2B markets, um, we are no longer anything even related to what a note taker would call. Now we're a business intelligence tool that takes in all areas of communication, allows full real-time training and coaching, as well as analytics to create the best results for our sales team, to get them involved in the sales process and help with the help and support of companies like BDR AI to help us fill our funnels so that we are communicating with customers and not trying to chase people around with phone calls or empty text messages or emails. We're not doing any of that. I don't do any of that. My emails go out in response to people, period, full stop, right? And most of our communication is taking place by way of inbound. There's an interesting word. So AI creates the opportunity for us to really focus on customers and clients and prospects and other vendors and suppliers and leaders that we all work with and want to continue to do that. So that's what we do today.
Yeah, that's so good. And I've really enjoyed working with your software because it really is helping me to not only capture, I played football for 12 years and watching film was a must, right? When you compete at the highest level, you're constantly analyzing what it is that you can do better and what you did well, and just looking at overall schemes and studying tendencies and things of that nature. And I've really appreciated the insights to the presentations that I've given. And, I'm going to play this quick little video from Jensen Huang from NVIDIA. It's probably one of the best aha moments, and it's only 30 seconds long. So let me play this video, and I want everybody to just jot down, maybe put it in the chat. What are your 3 takeaways from what he says here? Hold on just one second.
You're not engaging AI actively and aggressively, you're doing it wrong. You're not going to lose your job to AI. You're going to lose your job to somebody who uses AI. Your company is not going to go out of business because of AI. Your company is going to go out of business because another company used AI. There's no question about that. And so you have to engage AI as quickly as possible.
So 3 things in that situation. What he just said was, if you're not using AI, you're doing it wrong. That's a hard truth, right? But this is from somebody that is worth $100 billion, billion with a B. He understands how fast things are changing. And if you don't change, right, and the whole concept of who moved my cheese, and you don't start adapting some of these steps, I don't care if it's a 1 degree change or a 5 degree change, you have to start changing your trajectory. Otherwise, you're going to lose to the competition. So he said, if you're not using AI, you're doing it wrong. You're not going to lose your job to AI. You're going to lose your job to somebody else who's using AI. And your company is not going to go out of business because of AI. The robots are not going to take over. The people that are leveraging the technology to be able to compete at a much higher level is what's going to be the thing that's going to drive competition. And Alexi, you asked the question about the concept of time saving. Is that, when it comes down to time saving, the thing that we always try to come back to, whether it's, business development with BDR.ai or it's, leveraging technologies that Thomas Ross is leveraging with Workplace.ai.com, what time are you currently spending on the productivity and activities that are high leverage? And how much time are you spending on the things that are not necessarily required? One thing specifically for workplace-ai.com is the idea of recapping my message or recapping my presentations. I no longer have to do that. I no longer have to take notes. I can be present during the entire presentation because I know that AI is going to provide me with a digital breakdown of everything that needs to take place. It's going to give me some summaries. It's also going to tell me a little bit about the tendencies. It's going to help me to get better as a presenter, as a salesperson, as a business owner, but it's also going to help me to better understand the market that I'm serving and how I can end up serving that person best. That moment I saved, countless minutes every time I do a presentation or a conversation. I'm also learning more about myself and about how much I talk versus how much the presenter or the prospect talks. I'm learning to be better about asking questions skillfully and listening carefully. And as it relates to business development activities, how much time are you currently spending searching for contacts, searching for prospects, sending connection requests, sending messages, sending follow-up emails, having all of this come to a point where you can prioritize and organize your hottest and most valuable leads? How much time are you spending on doing those activities? And how much are you paid per hour? And just do the math. So if you can save that time, it's a worthwhile investment. And I love it when Thomas says the words $19. $19 for $19. I mean, for $20, you can use Chat GPT at a high level. You probably would have paid somebody thousands of dollars to do what Chat GPT does for you, but we don't do it. Why? So, we've had some good conversation here today, Thomas. Talk a little bit more about where they can reach you, where they can find you, and find out more about the services that you're providing and helping them to integrate AI in sales.
Yeah, sure. So the best place to reach me is probably LinkedIn. I post on a daily basis. In fact, it's interesting. In thinking through our conversation today, I posted an article just the other day with a new AI sales playbook, and I had done one 6 months previously, and this one is radically different, and it's because it keeps changing, and that is to say, different elements are now at the forefront of our process. So I would recommend go and check out my LinkedIn, and you can reach me directly through there. You can reach me by email at thomas@workplace.ai.com. But usually the easiest is through my LinkedIn profile. I don't know if you want to put it in the chat box. That would be great if you've got it there, David. And you'll see I post every day, and this is the topic I post on. So if you have any questions, just DM me, let me know. I am happy to talk to you about it and to help you with anything that you might have questions on. Take a look at that playbook. I think I did it a couple of days ago, maybe Monday or Tuesday or something like that. I lose track, but it's a phenomenal article, and it speaks to exactly what we're talking about today. And you'll find it there along with many others. And that will allow you to really sort of start to get your own sense and start to take your own journey. And that's what this is all about. The reality is, and again, this was only 18 months ago when AI really started to hit the ground the way it has. It was much more difficult to use even then compared to what it is today. So then, doing the prompts in ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude or any of the others was a lot more difficult than it is today because AI is learning and we're now sort of getting closer and closer to speaking the same language. And furthermore, the more you use these tools, the more they learn about you, and they automatically fill in the blanks, even though you haven't. And they finish it for you, and they create a simpler path for you to get the results you're looking for. But if you're not using these tools, I don't know what to tell you, except you need to find a different profession that won't use AI. And I don't know which profession that is.
Yeah, we're out in Iowa, and we got drones that are doing spraying fields and inspecting fields, and the technology is even, integrating into farming and agriculture at a record pace. Which, obviously they've gone leaps and bounds from just 20 years ago, but now it's even taken it to the next level. So this was the graphic I was referencing in terms of time saving when it comes to leveraging technology and AI. I don't know if you're spending 100 hours a week doing business development, but I bet you'd like to be spending 100 hours a month doing business development, or you'd like your sales professionals doing 100 hours a month of business development. And that's what we do at BDR.ai, is that we basically automate, streamline, leverage AI and technology to help your sales team or business owners, solopreneurs, lifestyle entrepreneurs that want to have a better quality life, but don't want to have a bunch of extra people to manage and overhead. We can end up helping you with that. So Thomas, thanks so much for joining us today and for sharing some of your wisdom. I put the link to your social profile in the chat. I'll also put it in the recording of this video. And great content. When I say that Thomas Ross is a strategist around AI, he does provide some awakening thoughts and ideas. And some of them are hard to chew on because they're future tense. They're really kind of casting into the future, but the cheese has been moved. And Thomas Ross is telling you where to find the cheese and how to go get it, leveraging some of the technology that he supports. So thanks, Thomas. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Is the cheese like the puck, by the way? You got to figure out where it's going first.
Yeah. And if some people are confused of finding the puck on the ice rink, then you need to leverage AI to find out where the puck and the cheese is. So thanks, everybody, for joining us live. If you watched a recording of this and you're viewing it, please leave us a comment and let us know if you have any questions. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to the Business Builders Playbook. If this episode gave you some plays that you can start running in your business today, hit subscribe and share with another revenue leader who's tired of the pipeline grind. Building predictable revenue isn't something you figure out alone. Whether you're looking to automate your prospecting with BDR.ai, or you just want to talk through the growth challenges you're facing, reach out. We help business leaders just like you to build systems that actually scale. And if you're ready to stop being your company's highest paid prospector, let's have a conversation. Reach out to us at bdr.ai. Until next time, let's keep building.